no prices as yet from Paddy Power from the Newmarket races, but they will be available, so we'll just get some tips. And we'll do the 2 o'clock, the International Studbook Committee handicap over a mile and 2. It's good to soft at the moment at Newmarket. Keels, kick on. Who do you think is going to win this one, mate?
Yeah, I like First Nation a fair bit here. He's been running over a mile and a half last 3 starts. I just don't think he's been seeing it out, but I think he's been improving at the same time. He went off just 11-2 to win that 100-gram race at Ascot last time. Only got beat 3 lengths, but again, it was just like the last furlong he's paddling, and he's done that 3 times. I thought he was a really good second earlier in the season at Sandown over a mile and 2. I think he's better than he was then, and dropping in trip and class, by the way, as well. He's dropping in class as well. I think he's definitely the one to beat.
Who do you reckon, Frank?
To be honest, I couldn't find a tip in this race, so I'm not going to give one if I would be backing myself.
Okie doke, David?
Oh, First Nation for me. I completely agree with everything Paul said there. Like that second to Athy Purse earlier on in the season, that looks really good now. It's only £2 higher now than it was then back at Ascot in June. And I don't think it's been running particularly poorly. There's been excuses both times, and very, very interesting. I certainly think very interesting back in trip, because last time it looked like it just wasn't quite getting home. It'll travel really well over a mile 2. So First Nation for me, 2 votes for First Nation.
Jolly good. The 2:35, the EBFstallions.com Bentley Cambridge Fillies handicap, 10 runners, a mile and a half. Frank, have you got one here?
I'm trying to find the race. I've the later races done. I did the Cesarovic trial and the sprint.
And the times round, haven't they?
They have switched. Is that the one with Star Rock? No.
No. It's a Phillies race.
I'll tell you what, you go
it's
first,
It's a Phillies
DJ.
handicap over a mile and a half, no?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I have one. Star Rock.
Okay.
Oh, he is
Julie
Starbuck.
Morrison,
Yeah, she's
down the
bottom.
bottom. Now, she hasn't been seen since May, but when she was last seen, she won a maiden here over a mile and a half, where she beat God Given. Now, God Given won a listed race here and won a Group 3 in France, and she's up over 100 now, I think 104 or something. So Star Rock is running in a handicap off 80. Look, she's been off since May. If she's ready to go, she'll absolutely bolt up here.
Lovely jubbly. Star Rock for Frank. Who for you, DJ?
Oh, I think this Cribs Causeway wins again, Bruce. I said earlier on in the year I fancied her reasonably strongly to win a really good 1 mile 6 handicap at Haydock back in July. She was beaten that day. She was a bit disappointing, but it was just a little bit early in her education. She's since won really, really nicely at Salisbury. It was a good race. She wasn't even favourite. She's gone up another £7. So you have to remember, she was rated 62 when she won at Kempton in June, and she's up to 88 now. So by my maths, that's £26. But I don't think her improvements have stopped. I really don't. I think she's a filly going places. She's tough and she's genuine. I think she's got a cracking chance.
Can you remember what she's named after, DJ?
Cribs Causeway?
Yeah.
I can't. Should I know?
I think we did this one last time. It's a retail shopping outlet on the outskirts of Bristol. Don't you know?
Well, sure. How would I know that?
I don't know. You might have gone shopping in Bristol. I don't know. Keels, who'd you like?
This is one of the races I haven't had a proper look at because they moved the times around, and it's still 5 o'clock on my list.
All right.
But I wouldn't argue with Frank with Star Rock, to be honest, because I do like God Given. I've backed that a couple of times, but I can't say I've had a proper look.
Okay, well, hopefully you've had a good look at the 3:10, because that's a real devilishly difficult race, as you'd expect from the title. It's the Betfred Cesarovic trial, obviously a rehearsal for the massive autumn handicap coming up next month. 2 mile 2 furlongs, 21 runners, no betting yet, but hopefully some winners. Paul Keeley, you can go first.
I'm in 2 minds with this. This Coeur d'Alene of Alan King's is rated 79 and hasn't run for 4 months. Now, if he doesn't win, he may not get into the Cez, and I thought he had Cez written all over him, to be honest, because he was a really decent juvenile hurdler. He was 7th in the Triumph to Defi de Sol, was 2nd to Defi de Sol earlier in the season as well, and he came out at Nottingham and he absolutely bolted up by 3 lengths in a 2 mile race on soft ground. Will get further, but I'm just wondering why the layoff. I mean, is it taking a massive gamble? But if ready, he's rated 79. It's 144 over hurdles, so he's got an absolute vast amount in hand if he's fit and ready to go, and I'd imagine he has to be if they want to run in the Says. Now, Time to Suddy's was one of my favourite horses early in the season, and I backed him a couple of times recently. I just wondered when I looked at him at Doncaster last time whether he waits in front a little bit. He might like the extra trip, but Coeur de Lion has got to be the best handicapped horse in the race.
I thought you were an Alan King. I thought you were a friend of his. Can't you text him?
No, I'm not a friend of Alan King. I got pissed in his company once at the Dunraven Arms at the previous church, and he dragged me under the table. Couldn't believe it. I had to go to bed, and apparently he was still going at 5:30.
Blimey, that makes him an absolute king of the drinkers if he's had you under the table.
I mean, compared to me, he was actually talking sense as well. So
okay.
Well,
you didn't get his phone number.
But no.
Righty-ho. DJ, who do you think is going to win this one?
Oh, Bruce, this is all about Coeur de Lion. I'll tell you why, and I think so. Like, I think I'm talking for Alan King here. The reason that it hasn't ran since May is because it ran 11 times from June to May this year. And I'd say he just couldn't take the chance of keeping him on the go. I think he had to have a break because he went straight from running the flat to running in Wetherby over hurdles, and it beat Fort Bridge on its debut in a maiden hurdle over jumps. And then, like, it ran against Defi de Sol, beat Rather, like, it's hurdle form when you go through it. There's so much substance to it. He was second at Defi de Sol, then it beat Ratherby. Ratherby went on and won a big handicap at Aintree. Everywhere you look, like second to London Prize in a Nottingham handicap last October, that's working out really well. London Prize is rated much higher now as well. And if you even go back into the Triumph Hurdle at Cheltenham, you know, coming down to the last, Coeur de Lion was bang there, made a mess of the last, was beaten 11 lengths. You could take about 4 lengths off that for the mistake at the last. It's a cracking run. It's up to 144 now. It won as you liked at Nottingham, as Paul said there. That was soft ground that day. It handled soft ground. I think they couldn't take the chance. I think they needed to give this horse a break. And going through last year's Cesarewitch, 80 got in. So last year in the Cesarewitch, Always Resolute and Teak were both rated 80. Coeur de Lion is rated 79, so has a chance of getting in already. So I think if it finishes in the first 3 here, it'll get in, but I think it'll win.
Alan, if you're listening to this while driving, I hope you didn't crash the car in horror at the prospect of David Jennings speaking on your behalf. But we've got 2 very strong votes for Coeur de Lion. Have we got a third from you, Frank, or do you fancy something else?
No, like, this is just a good thing. I know you could say it's a 21-runner handicap, be very competitive, but I was looking through it this morning. Like, it's as flat run before that Nottingham race was, as Paul said already, second to London Prize. London Prize is £20 higher now and has won the Imperial Cup over hurdles. So that was a cracking effort. His hurdles form is very, very solid. Beat Rotherby. Rotherby won a competitive handicap at the Aintree Festival for 136. He's finished 7th in the Triumph Hurdle. He's up to 144. Absolutely hacked up at Nottingham. Probably was given a break. This has probably been the aim to come back, win this, and get into Cesarewitch. Like, I know you could run the risk of coming second or third and maybe getting a couple of... I think he needs to win because the way it's out to get a penalty, to be sure. He get a £4 penalty, bring him up to 83. That'll get him a run.
What price will he be, Frank?
Well, I'm priced up, Paul, or David, so I want you to get in a very big price. I would be thinking, off the top of my head, 7-2.
Really? That short?
4. He's absolutely thrown in. Like, honestly, like, if he's fit, he wins, and he'll win well.
Okay, fair enough. So everyone likes Coeur de Lion. I was getting very excited there. I thought all 3 of these judges all fancy one in a 21-run handicap. But look, we don't mind a 7-2 winner, regardless of how many runners. Excellent. Right, okay. This is the bit where I ask the experts who they fancy on Saturday, but not to reveal their nap. So, Paul Keeley, you go first.
There was only one more really at Newmarket, but I got to try and find the race now because it was in the wrong bloody order.
Okay. Do you want DJ to go first?
Let
that
DJ
should give you
first.
ample time. You could probably walk to Newmarket, ask them which race it is, and then give us your answer. Go on, DJ.
Okay, I'm a bit intimidated now because I don't know whether to talk or just shut up. But anyway, in the 255 at Navan, my local track, one of my many guilty pleasures is running
But
here.
hang on a sec. Sorry. By the way, I've got to apologise for the Laganore thing last week. You would.
I know.
Couldn't believe
Dixon.
it. You were doing you tried so hard to find a horse that wasn't Laganore, didn't you? You found one, and then Laganore pisses up. I couldn't believe it. I felt bad about that.
Sickening it was.
I apologise.
Tony
for
Martin,
that.
just for people listening in, Tony Martin's horses have completely turned the corner, completely, and they are bombing at the minute. 3 of his last 6 have won. He's had a terrible year, but just if you do kind of half fancy a Tony Martin horse at the moment, back it, because they're absolutely bombing at the moment, just to let you know. But anyway, in the 255 at Navan, this Moulin Avant, right, it's going to be a pretty short price, but this is a proper horse. Like, they think the absolute world of Moulin Avant. Apparently, he's going to be running the beginner's chase after this, and he jumps brilliantly. So if you're looking for a novice chaser to follow for the season, Moulin Avant, he's rated 137 over hurdles. I'm just praying. Jamie Summers is in the race and was unlucky. Fell at the second last at Galway 5 days ago. Jamie Summers, and Jamie Summers is only rated 4 pound inferior to Moulin Avant. There's a world of difference between these two horses. This Moulin Avant is touching on, like, he's a proper Grade 2 horse, I think. I think he's going to prove it. Noel Meade horses are running really well. Nina won the bumper the other night. If there's any type of odds against Moulin Avant in the 255 at Navan, you've got to back it.
Okay, any others?
No, that's it.
Okay, what was your one at Newmarket, Kills?
Yeah, finally found it. 240 Newmarket. Horse
There isn't a 240 at Newmarket.
Well, that's what it says on my watch it. I can't work it out. I've just clicked on the race and it says 240.
Oh,
on my thingy. So I mean, it's just
your thingy
impossible.
being what?
On the Racing Post website.
Oh Christ! Don't expose that as being all over the place.
Right, let me try
What's
and
the name of the
find it
horse?
in order. The horse is called Bernardo O'Reilly. And yeah, it still says 240, but it's coming after the bloody 235. So no idea.
It's the 420,
It's the 420 now, is it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I
You
must
sure
be.
you haven't just got
Yeah, no, it's not.
hangover
It's
or
all,
something?
no, it's all over the place.
Okay, right. So it's the 420 Newmarket.
Anyway,
Why
a
will
horse,
Bernardo
a
O'Reilly
horse of
win?
Richard Spencer's, Bernardo O'Reilly, absolutely bolted up first time in a maiden at Lingfield on good to soft ground, then flopped out of the stalls in a 5-runner race on soft ground at Salisbury next time, and just couldn't get involved off a slow gallop. Don't think he liked fast ground last time at Newmarket, and I just think he'll be a completely different horse in a big field off a solid pace to chase, and he'll be a double-figure price too.
Frank Hickey, how many horses feature in your roundup?
Just a few.
Go on
not
then.
too many. 455 at Newmarket. This one will be a price too. I don't think I'm pricing it, hopefully. But a horse called Poet's Princess of Hughie Morrison's. It has some decent form. If you go back to Newmarket in May, it was second beaten ahead by XTR. XTR is now rated about 12 pounds higher. Won a really good handicap at Newmarket afterwards. But third that day was Quench Dolly, who was a good winner at Goodwood since, and Holmeswood was fourth, who was a good winner of big 3-year-old sprint at York. Now, Poet's Princess is actually £4 lower here, but she's also dropped in class. She's been running in grade 2 handicaps up to now, and she's dropped back to grade 4. I think if she's she raised handy enough, Josephine Gordon's on, she's riding brilliantly at the moment. This could be 14, 16 to 1. It's a massive each way price. I'll be having a right cut off it.
Don't speak to your colleague who's pricing it up, okay?
And then I won't say anything. Then Wolverhampton 610. This one's been on my radar for a little bit. Miracle Garden. It's had about 6 runs, I think, for Ian Williams, but it ran over 7 the last day, showed a lot. Was beaten 3 3/4 lengths by Siege Boston at Kempton, but Wolverhampton's its track. It's dropped back to 6, which is a good thing for it, and it's got the blinkers on for the first time. I'd say they'll go for this, and I'd say that'll take a bit of beating.
Just the 2?
Just the 2, yeah.
Okay, nap time.
This will not be beaten.
David Jennings, you go first.
I actually feel bad because I forgot that you said that to give tips for horses that is not your nap. I forgot that bit. But I just really need to get a winner in the nap. And I will be... Now, I mean, this horse is a certainty. I will be devastated if Moulin Avant doesn't win the 255. It's just a completely different class to these. Please, God, say a little prayer that it's going to be odds against, because I will genuinely be absolutely devastated if Moulin Avant doesn't win the 255 at Navan.
Even if there was a God, David Jennings, do you not think he's got enough on his plate right now without ensuring that a horse running at Navan goes off at odds against?
Yeah, but, like, if he gets a couple of minutes spare, like, you know.
Kills?
Yeah, 325 Doobie, just in terms of value, a horse shouldn't be around 20 to 1 when it's officially well in. Law and Order, 325.
Lovely stuff. And Frank, who are you going to go for?
Yeah, this doesn't augur well, because I'm going to go to 325 as well and put up one at the price. Shaba, 20 to 1. Yeah, each way. I think it's a cracking each way bet.
Exacta.
We can have some casts, yeah, some exactas. Excellent. Okay, before
What's yours, Bruce?
No, I don't have one actually. Oh no, yes I do. Of course, James Garfield. Yeah. In the no, you don't care. Yes, in the what is it? The Mill Reef. James Garfield. Right. Okay. Before the break, we will announce the competition winner on Monday. We asked who won the St Ledger. The answer was Capri, and Steph James from Paisley tweeted the answer with the word Postcast. So well done, Steph. You win a free £25 bet from Paddy Power, and there's another chance to win a free bet in Monday's show.